Historically, Wapping has been a rough area. Starting hundreds of years ago with the pirates and continuing with post-World War II devastation, this neighborhood has a bumpy past.
But through it all, the legacy of the troublemaking pirates remains in Wapping today and has brought people to the town from around the world.
Chris Young is the manager of the historic pirate pub in town called the Prospect of Whitby, which is regarded as the oldest riverfront pub in London.
The place has built up a reputation now as well, like across the world as well. There's so many people who come in here day to day, people from the States or maybe from China or from other parts of Europe, and they're like, oh, I was told to come and visit the Prospect of Whitby if ever I'm in London. So it's kind of a draw for people to come and check out. At the back of the pub we have a gallows, we have a noose hanging up there. It was for, it's sort of as a little tribute to Execution Dock. Execution Dock was an area built in Wapping where a lot of bandits, pirates and criminals all used to get hung.
Nowadays, estate managers use the pirate history as a selling point to people who are considering moving to Wapping.
It's just a sort of interesting fact to tell people, especially if you look at the Captain Kidd, that's actually where Captain Kidd was hanged. So it's just a bit of trivia really when you sort of showing people around, and it's depending on which sort of docks or warehouses you're going into. So obviously if I go to somebody into Execution Dock, which is a warehouse full of flats now, I would say this is where actually people were executed back in the day. So.
Young is not only an expert on the story of the pirates, but also a local resident who has seen and heard about the change.
I definitely know in the last 10 to 15 years all of Wapping has completely changed, because you get a lot of people who visit the pub who maybe visited here in the 1960s when they're here, oh, I was last here 40 years ago, and then they say all around here has completely changed.
Wapping used to be a very rough area. So no one really wanted to live here, and it's just gradually as residents, the blocks have been developed and converted, more and more residents have moved in here.
From the 1980s round about there, that's when the main sort of redevelopment of Wapping started. Through the years they've just basically converted most of the warehouses, and then they've just added quite a lot of property in around the area.
In the last decade, a change in transportation brought even more life to the area.
6 or 7 years ago, the overground train started coming here, so I think that's when it really started to develop as a little place to live, because the transport, before that, transporting was really bad. It was only buses. But yeah, I've been speaking to a few residents and they said it used to be really, really bad in Wapping. No cab drivers would come here. Yeah.
As the area has become more popular, there has been more young professional families and that sort of stuff moving into the area. The main draw for people about Wapping is it's 50% between Canary Wharf and the city. So when you have sort of a family living here with a husband working in the city and the wife working in Canary Wharf, they don't have to argue about who's travelling the most because it's sort of 50-50. And then also when they did develop the area, there's a lot of parks and pathways and canals and all that sort of stuff, so it's quite family orientated in that sense that there's a lot of space outside for people to live in.
It's so nice, so quiet. Everyone knows everyone. It's like a small town in London, so I really like it.
With Wapping as a now safe residential area, it's normal to see kids under the age of 15 running around just being kids.
So there's a youth club right here that we're waiting for. Pool, table tennis, and then like PS4 stuff. And there's also a football pitch down there and a sports centre down there that sometimes we might use. Plus it's not that big of an area compared to most, yet there's still quite a lot to do.
But not everyone is happy with the changes in town.
Before there used to be a community. But unfortunately, the people with the money, they force all the young people from the old families out of here. And the old people, more or less, all of them died, only a few left here because it's too expensive for them to stay here and buy something for themselves to live in or even rent.
Andreo explained that the only reason he and his wife, along with other local shops, have been able to stay in Wapping is because their businesses belong to the council and the council does not charge the same rent.
There used to be an Irish community here. When the talks were here, it was an Irish community. And like I said, some of them, or maybe all of them, they had 12, 15, 16 kids, each family. And they all eventually disappeared. Some of the older people that died. It's a shame, but that's life.
Even though new development has come to the area over the last several decades, Wapping is still a well-kept secret.
I say I live in Wapping, they don't know where it is, like Wapping, like, where's that? They think it's like way out east, but really is so close to the city and so close to Canary Wharf, so it's a really nice spot.
When asked to describe Wapping in one or a few words, locals said Wapping is
Characterful.
Sleepy.
I'd probably say peaceful again.
Nice.
Wapping is a unique blend of where ancient historic London meets with a new modern London.
Wapping is a little village in the middle of London.
The town that once feared pirates now only fears the welcome dogs.